we have some other questions, some pretty good questions, I think. We have one from Tina. I work in a male-dominant work environment, and around the holidays, we have a Christmas work party, and my employers and co-workers, they always want to do something very active, something exciting, and like rock climbing or some kind of sports. And I just want to do something simple like a nice dinner. I understand that, although I love being athletic too. How do I approach my employers, my co-workers about this without coming across as a downer? That's a very good question. Relationships are really good at teaching us to negotiate. Everything in life is a negotiation. And a trick that I have that works very well for this situation is called you, me, us. So the us is the outcome you would like. The you is you explain that you understand their point of view, but then you explain your point of view, and you look for a solution that fits both people. So you can start with, I understand you guys, you'd love to go and do something athletic, something more spunky, more active, because that's what you love doing. Me, on the other hand, I know I'm tired. I have my kids right now. It's really exhausting. And I just don't have the energy right now, but I really want to hang around with you. So what can we do so you feel like I respect your needs, you respect my needs, so we can have a nice time together? Because, you know, the last couple years, I've gone ahead and done that with you, but then I'm just exhausted and I don't enjoy it. So what can we do? So what is something else we can do that will suit both of us? Try that one, because usually when you're with people who care, they go, oh, I'm sorry, we didn't realize that. We were thinking that, you know, you would like it too. So it's about, in every relationship, making sure that you want the best for the other people while respecting your needs. Always keep that in the back of your mind. All right. Then I have a question from Robin. All right, Robin says, there's a guy I see almost every day at my favorite coffee shop. The barista, maybe? It seems we have a subtle connection, but I am too shy to make a first move. What do I do? I don't want to get rejected. How do I approach this? How do I break this wall that prevents me from getting to know new people? All right. I saw there's a movie out there, and I actually really like the message behind it. I think it's called Honey, We Got a Zoo. And in the beginning of the movie, the man is walking on the street and he sees this beautiful woman sitting in a restaurant. And he decides, I only need 30 seconds of courage. So he goes in the restaurants, he sits in front of her, he takes 30 seconds of courage, and he asks her out, and they end up being married. Sometimes the only thing we can do in life is be courageous. And I love the word courage, because if you look at it, it has the French root of cœur. So if you want to live an amazing life, if you want to bring the best out of yourself, if you want to bring the best out of your life, you're going to have courage. You're going to have to challenge yourself sometimes to get something that you would love to get in exchange. If you never ask, you're never going to get any response that you would like. So what if it's 50-50? Go for the stats. I remember I had this guy. He asked me 3 times to go out with him. And for 3 times I said no. And then he tried again. And I went, wow. You know, if you have the courage to ask me 3 times, I'm going to say yes this time. Courage is something very sexy. So, you know, what's the worst that can happen? It's not him rejecting you that's going to hurt you. It's you rejecting yourself. So, since you're worthy of love, since you would be a great catch, wouldn't he be lucky to have a chance with you? So go with the 30 seconds of courage. All right. Then we have Camille. My teenage daughter is socially awkward. I don't know how to help her. It's always she's always full of anxiety. How do I help her? That's a very good question. How do you help your kids who have social awkwardness to go out into the world? And I think it starts, if you have young children right now, really start young, but you can start as a teenage too. And I have, it's a corny story, but it's the perfect corny story. It's the story of the butterfly in a cocoon story. So the scientist is observing a butterfly coming out of a cocoon. It's a huge trouble. It takes hours and hours and hours. So to be nice to the butterfly, he cuts the cocoon open. But by doing that, the butterfly has nothing to struggle against, so the wings are weak, it can never fly, and it dies like that. So, if you start with this story when your kids are very young, or you can start at any age, and you tell them, I want you to live an amazing life. And I know that for you, going out there is scary and you feel awkward. But what would be the benefits to you if you learn to challenge yourself, if you learn to get out of your comfort zone and build your wings so that you can actually be out there and doing things? And teach your kids about, since they're worthy of love, since you're worthy of love, should you go and hang around some people? The other things you need to do is you need to make sure that your child hangs around people with similar values. I have kids that I call old souls, and they feel like they don't fit in with other kids because the other kids want to party and they don't want to do those things, and it just feels wrong for them. So if you have a kid that's artistic, encourage artistic friends. If your kid is athletic, encourage them to it. Kids are athletic. Or if your child is an old soul, encourage your child to be with old souls, because when we have people who share similar values, we always feel more comfortable. We always feel at home. That's important. And be very careful who your kids hang around with, because if the kids they hang around with are troubled kids, your kid will most likely start having trouble. So that's something as a parent to be highly aware and talk about with your child. Now we have Gwen. Gwen, I know this is a question we all have heard many times, but how and what is the best way to go about losing weight in your opinion? In my opinion, my experience, if you want to lose weight and keep the weight off, I use what I call the health triangle. So for any situation where you want to gain more health, part of the triangle is the structural aspect, the other one is the biochemical aspect, and the last one is emotional. So structural, biochemical, and emotional. If you do that, the odds of you being at your ideal weights are very, very high. So structural, what's structural? Exercising is one of them, getting massages, relaxing, sleeping, all these things that can impact your structure, your brain, your hormones, all that. What you eat and what you drink, even the stuff you put on your skin has an impact. And we know that the most challenging thing you can eat to have an impact on your weight is carbs. If you eat sugars and sugary things, people have the idea that if they eat fat, they will put on weight. It's actually the opposite. If you eat healthy fat, not processed fat, not trans fat, but healthy fats, you will actually lose more weight because you'll be able to regulate your blood sugar. So eating the right food, making sure that your hormones are balanced. Hormonal balance is super important for losing weight. And the other one is emotions. So our emotions often we stuff our emotions with food. And we often go for the food that we had when we were children. And so as a parent right now, if you have kids, make sure that you don't use food with the word treat. Because when your child is depressed and they're going to want to make themselves feel happy, they will crave that thing that you have associated with a treat. One of my patients, when I was a chiropractor a long time ago, told me that as a treat she had associated celery sticks to her child. She said she even wrapped it up in aluminum paper and put it under the Christmas tree. So when her son, who was then 30 years old to this day, if he felt depressed, he would always go for the celery stick. So making sure you check your emotions, because often the food you go to is actually just some emotional thing that you have. And your emotions can impact your hormones, they can impact your exercising, so it's all connected. That's why to have a successful health loss or keeping your health or putting on weight, it's structural, biochemical, and emotional. And the emotions, the most common one is the subconscious work that you can do, and you can work with me. I would love to work with you. You can also sign up for the Unleash Your Dream Life program, and it's amazing. You learn to do the work on yourself whenever you need it, so that you don't sabotage yourself, that you don't stuff your emotions. Once I had a patient when I was a chiropractor, and she was really proud of herself. She had changed all her lifestyle, and she was really proud, but all of a sudden she started craving potato chips. And so doing the subconscious work that I do, we ended up figuring out that and she remembered that when she was a little kid, if she did well at night, her mom would line her and her brothers in the kitchen before they went to bed, and she would put her hand out and they would get chips. So now that she was doing really well with her lifestyle, the Pavlovian bell was kicking in and she was craving chips. So, what we associate with emotions is super important. It can really help you losing weight, or it can hold you back. That's it for now. If you have any questions, you can send them to us. And if you want to talk with me, you can always call the office and book an exploration call with me, and we can discuss if you're interested in doing some coaching with me. Bye for now.